Today we're looking at 5 acres of land for sale in Colorado, and in this video I'm going to show you the top things that will help you to decide whether this property is the right fit for you, and that's based on my experience selling over 700 parcels of land. So let's get started with location. This property is in southern Colorado. It is close to the town of Alamosa, and it sits in a valley in between two mountain ranges. So that does mean that in this area you are going to get mountain views. It is also a more rural area, so here you get more space, fewer neighbors, great views, more privacy. So we can take a look at the property here and the drone footage. So this is a lot. Hi, Giselle. Let's see. Air horn. There we go. Oh. Thank you for joining. All right, so as you can see, we do have the mountain views here. This is a very flat area. And as I was saying, this is a property for someone who is looking for a spot that is out of the big city, which has space, few neighbors, privacy, views, proximity to nature. This is not a property for someone who's looking for a lot with all utilities available. That's right near town, in the middle of, say, shops and all of that. It's not for someone looking for a ready-to-build suburban lot, shall we say. Okay. As you can see, the property does front an improved road. Actually, if we go back to the footage, the road is in good condition. It's a dirt road. And there are homes in the area. So Castilla County is actually known for having a large off-grid community. It's an area people come to live off-grid. Of course, we are in the desert. So if you did want to live off-grid, you would have to be prepared for some of the challenges, like getting water. Many people have managed to build or drill wells out here. Almost all the homes are on wells, I believe. We can check that in our due diligence software shortly, but the well is going to be deep, so that will be an upfront investment. This area does also, it's desert. Does it have water rights? That is an important question. So my understanding is that in this area, you don't need water rights for a domestic well. Now, if you did want to do agriculture, you would have to look into getting water rights, but this is also 5 acres, so it's not a large agricultural property. I think if you were just looking to do some homesteading and put in a house, you wouldn't need water rights, is my understanding based on our research. But of course, I do always recommend confirming all of this with the county and the state. So, and actually, I can look at that. If you are interested in the question of water rights, you can go to the Colorado Division of Water Resources. They have guidance documents here. But let's see. And I'm sure you could, Giselle. You're the expert at agriculture. Can you actually? I'd be curious to hear what you would do on a parcel like this. Let's see. Okay, so exempt wells. So household use only wells. These types of well permits are issued for ordinary household uses in one single family dwelling. Do not allow for outside water or livestock watering. Generally, individuals may obtain this type of permit if they own a lot in a subdivision that was created prior to 1972, or if the parcel was created by an exemption. So I believe almost all the subdivisions that we've worked in Castilla County would fall under this category. Maybe a mini castle, yeah. Could build a sand dune castle. The Great Sand Dunes are nearby. That's my understanding. Of course, you can always confirm this with the Colorado Division of Water Resources. So this would be an exempt well. Exempt from water rights, that would be. Okay. So yes, in terms of the other aspects of building, like what you can use the property for, what utilities are available, this is, as I was saying, an off-grid area. So you would be looking at solar, well, septic. And we just talked a little bit about wells. I'll just wrap up the well discussion by going to our due diligence software. And you can see on the topic of well feasibility, there are a number of, there's actually some agriculture going on here. Surprising, this area does have a fairly heavy agricultural presence. There are many parcels that are being farmed, but you can see that there are a couple homes in this area, and they all do have wells. That's what these blue dots are. So people are drilling wells out here. That doesn't seem to be a problem. But as I said, I can't get the exact well depth on any of these. But I would assume that the well depth, it is going to be a bit deep. So that would be an upfront investment that you should keep in mind and budget for if you're thinking about building. All right, so that covers wells. All the other utilities would be off-grid. And in terms of what you can use the property for. Oh, hi, Clever Enigma. It's been a while. Yeah, Forbes Park. This has been a popular area. I think it's got good mountain views here. Curious what your thoughts are, Clever Enigma. But anyway, yeah, in terms of what you can use the property for, because I know that's a big question. So according to our research, oh, and if you know anything about like wells or any tips on building, Clever Enigma, it would help. I'm sure it would help everyone who's watching. All right. So according to our research, camping is allowed for 14 days without a permit. And so this area, it's popular for off-grid living. It's also popular for recreational use because you can camp for a decent amount of time. So some people might bring an RV just for like weekend camping here. This area is zoned residential, which actually, let's pull up the Castilla County zoning ordinance. Yeah, not much building codes in force. My boss built all kinds of stuff not to code. Yeah, that is one thing about these rural areas. It's not always, code is not always heavily enforced. But of course, I should say the correct approach is to always follow rules and regulations, because you never know when someone is going to enforce them. Right. So let's go to, we're looking for the residential designation. Okay, here we go. So rural residential is actually the zoning designation, which cattle farms all over. Yeah. Yeah, this is, as I was saying, a heavy farming community. There are a lot of people who are ranching and farming out here. So there are actually a lot of uses allowed under the rural residential zoning designation. And we can check what each of these mean. Not and is not allowed. And then these are various allowances. Some of them require additional permits, but if you're interested in that use, you can always contact the county and go over what that means. So accessory dwelling seems to be allowed. And earthship homes are allowed, which is interesting that they actually call them out. Oh, hi, ATM. ATM Tim. Nice to see you. We have a big turnout today. Right. But you can scroll down through here. You can see that there is livestock. There are a lot of allowable uses here. Mobile homes are allowed as well. So you can do just a regular single-family home, mobile home, or agricultural activity on this property, according to our research. But of course, I do always say, confirm all zoning rules and regulations with the county. Another nice thing about these more rural properties is annual property taxes are very low. So these are very easy properties to hold on to for a long time. You're not going to be incurring many carrying costs. Oh, clever. My ex-boss was an ex-Air Force colonel who also was on a DoD think tank for nuclear. Wow. That is way above my pay grade. Way above my pay grade. What was he doing in Castilla County? He just wanted like a out-of-the-way property. Was that it? But yeah, I'll get more into the price and owner financing in a little bit. I just want to wrap up some of the key details on this particular property. But yeah, the price is $8,997. Okay, so just a few quick other points. We mentioned wells. I also want to cover special hazard flood zone and wetlands because those can impact building. Oh, Prepper Ranch. Interesting. What was his experience like living off-grid in Castilla County? So it is a pretty flat lot, as we saw from the drone footage. Flat lots are great from a building perspective. It's not in a special hazard flood zone. That's important because Fortitude Ranch, very interesting. Is he still out there? Flood zones, you can build in flood zones, but they do often come with additional flood insurance requirements and building elevation requirements. So not being in a special hazard flood zone does eliminate those additional requirements. And there are no wetlands here, which is important because wetlands can make it very difficult to build. And you'd be surprised, I know we're in like a more arid desert area, but you would be surprised there can still be wetlands and flood zones in deserts. So that's all good news. And then just on the septic's standpoint, in these areas, I'm not as worried about septic in the more like sandy, dry areas. But one thing we always check is whether the soil type that is on a property is also showing up on properties that have been built on. So that way you know that at a high level, the soil type you're working with has supported a septic system on other lots. So you can see it does have a soil type that many other properties in this area have, and those properties have been built on. So that's a good sign for septic. I see. Does he like Castilla County, living out here? All right. And one last thing before we get into owner financing. I know that, this property really is for someone who's looking for an out-of-the-way property, either for recreation, off-grid living, prepper, like your boss, Clever, or just as an investment property. But often you do want to know where the nearest market, hospital, all of that is. So this property is, well, the nearest town of substantial size is Alamosa, and that is only 30 minutes from the property, so it's not too bad. And in Alamosa, there would be markets, restaurants. I think there's even a hospital as well. Let's double check that. Yeah, so plenty of healthcare infrastructure in Alamosa as well. So, and you're not crazy out of the way. You're still within half an hour of all the basic amenities. And I think there might even be a market that's closer. There's a Red Rock General Store that's a little closer in Blanca as well. All right. Walmart and University there in Alamosa, yeah. Yeah, I like this county a lot too. It was his first homestead, interesting. It's very pretty. There was actually, I saw a whole documentary on people who are living off-grid out here. I mean, it does require a certain amount of fortitude to make off-grid living here work. It is kind of a harsh climate, but there are many people who have made it work. People who are maybe hardier than me. I'm just a little city girl. But yeah, not much in Blanca, but Alamosa is not too far away. Okay, so appreciate any other insight you have, Clever Enigma, on the county. So I will get into price. We briefly touched on price, but I do want to talk about owner financing as well, because I know that that's an important buying point for many people. But first, just to quickly introduce myself to anyone who's not familiar with me, so you do know who you're working with. Yeah, winter snow there. I know it's a harsh climate. Summers are hot, winters can get very cold. So it's not a place you want to just drive like your standard RV out to, park there and try to live year round on. You do want to be prepared if you're planning to do off-grid. So my name is Erica. I am the co-founder of Gauthier Capital. We have a company that sells vacant land, and our mission is to help people across the country become landowners and build their own version of the American dream. We have helped over 700 people buy land, and you can find all of our properties at land.goatcap.com. We do work throughout the entire US, so if you're looking at properties in other states, you can always check out our main listing page. We have a couple of their properties in Colorado as well. But today we're looking at number 746 on our website, the property on Denver Road in Castilla County, Colorado. And just quick note, this is our internal numbering system. Don't expect to see it on the deed. If you did want to do some research with the county, you could give them this number here, the property's APN, to get more information on the lot. But if you want to pull the property up on our website, it is number 746. All right, and one other thing I want to clarify is we're not real estate agents. We only sell properties our company owns. So that does mean, one, you're working directly with the owner, but also we can offer owner financing on all of our properties, including this one. Yeah, Fort Garland's another place where you can get like basic amenities, right? Dispensary as well. Yep. The important stuff, right? So we do offer owner financing. Now, I will say you're not going to see set owner financing terms on our website, and that is because we do like to tailor our owner financing terms to meet the needs of each individual buyer. So if you're interested in owner financing, I do always say, please reach out to us and let us know what kind of monthly payment and down payment would work for your budget, and we'll come up with something that makes the property affordable for you. Yeah, we try to, because we buy so much land, we do try to set prices a little bit below market. We're kind of like Costco of land. All right, so I do want to be upfront about two terms with owner financing though. So first is that the higher the down payment, the lower interest rate. So keep that in mind when you're thinking about your budget. The other is we do say there's no building on or living on the property until the end of the loan term. That's for liability reasons, but you can use the property for recreational purposes. This county does allow camping, after all. Or you can make minor improvements as long as you're in compliance with all local rules and regulations. So I do always say if there are a few things you want to do before you pay off the loan, like fencing, clearing, this lot shouldn't need much grading, but if you did want to do that, generally anything that doesn't require a permit, just let us know and we'll work with you. The other thing I'll say is there's no prepayment penalty, so you can always pay off early, get started building if that's what you wanted to do, and save on interest. And actually, if you pay off early enough, we'll give you cash back. So if you pay off in 6 months, we'll give you 5% cash back. If you pay off in 12 months, we'll give you 2.5% cash back. The other thing I like to mention is we do have a 365-day land exchange guarantee. And we created this because we'd heard from many previous buyers that one of their biggest concerns, especially if they're a first-time land buyer, so that they might not know all the due diligence they need to do up front and end up with a property that doesn't work for them. So to solve for this, we did create the 365-day land exchange guarantee, kind of like GPS. If, just like GPS, you take a wrong turn, it reroutes you. If you do end up with a property that you decide doesn't work for you, we can reroute you to a different one. Anytime in that first year, you can always come to us and let us know you'd like to exchange the property. You do have to pay another doc fee, but we'll move over all the principal payments to the new property. That way you get a lot that really works for you. And another thing I do like to mention is, based on feedback from hundreds of previous buyers, we did create a landowner success bundle. It comes free with every purchase. It's a set of 9 bonuses designed to help you get the most from your land. And as a quick overview of these bonuses, they do include exclusive offers with mobile home manufacturers and dealers, monthly landowner Q&A calls with me, so you still get support even after the deed's recorded, a complimentary vacation voucher, a hotel savings card that has a $500 value, and these are designed to help offset the cost of a move or just a vacation to celebrate land ownership. You can also request a free architectural consultation with me because I do have a background in architecture. And you get a homesteading guide, building and zoning guide, post-closing checklist to make sure you're set up correctly, and our neighbor lookup tutorial. So all of these come free with every purchase. You get them when the deed's recorded. That's either upfront with a cash sale or at the end of the loan term with owner financing. And if you are interested in this property, I do recommend doing 2 things. The first is to hold the property, because all of our properties do get a lot of interest and we can't guarantee availability. And I will say, in the past, before we had this feature, we would have people go out to visit the property or take some time to do their due diligence. And when they got back to us, the property was sold. So we created this to make sure that doesn't happen to anyone. It's only $50 for 2 days, and you can hold for up to 8 days at a time. When you do hold a property, we'll take it off market while you do your research, go visit the property, call us, do whatever you need to do to become comfortable. The hold fee is also credited to the purchase price. In fact, it's credited to the purchase price regardless of what property you buy, as long as you buy within 90 days. So that's step 1. If you love this property, I always recommend holding it. There's a simple automated checkout process on our listing page. Just click buy or hold. The next step I always recommend is to give me a call. We can go over any of your questions, next steps, and if you would like to use owner financing, we can go over owner financing terms. So you can book a call with me here. This is my personal calendar at call.cokecap.com. So you have 2 steps: hold the property and book a call with me. The other thing I'll mention is, if you are just starting with your land purchase and you're still not quite certain what property you're interested in, on my calendar, you can also book a free land strategy call. And on these calls, we can talk for 15-20 minutes about your land buying goals. And based on your goals, some of the top things I would recommend you always look into whenever you research a property, in order to make sure that you will actually get a property that works for you. So that is completely free. You can always book a free land strategy call on my calendar. Also, if you are in the market, I'm liking Sonder Road in Forbes Park. Is that one of, I should note, we actually have a number of other properties in Castilla County. So if you want to shop around and see which property, this one here, number 803. Actually, I should say, Clever Enigma, if you really are looking for a Castilla County property and you'd like to book a call, I'm happy to talk to you about the properties and the process and all that. But yeah, sounds like you might be interested in 803. But as I was saying, for anyone else watching, if you are currently in the market for land and you're still looking at a bunch of different properties, I do offer free property reviews as well. So I am live, just like today, every day at 7 p.m. Eastern. I go over one property every day, but if anyone would like a free property review, I also do that after I cover our property of the day. So if you have a property that you're thinking you might be interested in purchasing and you'd like a free second opinion, join any day at 7 p.m. Eastern and leave your property in the chat. I can take a look at it for you for free. All right, sounds good. Perfect. Yep, whenever you're ready, just let me know or book a call and we can talk about it. The last thing I want to mention, oh yes, and you can also just join a live and chat with me at any time, like I was doing today. So feel free to join and just hang out too. The last thing I'll mention is we do have a free land giveaway we run twice a year. It's just a fun promotion to get the word out about our company. The next one is on July 4th, and we'll be giving away the lowest value property in our inventory live on YouTube. So if you'd like to throw your hat in the ring, you can watch the quick 1-minute video on what to do to participate at freelandgiveaway.com. So other than that, again, today you can find all of our properties at land.gocap.com. Today we were looking at number 746, the property on Denver Road. And if you are interested in the property, you can always hold it on the website and book a call with me at call.gocap.com. So, thank you, Clever Enigma. So thank you all for joining today. It was such a great turnout. It's always more fun when there are people here. But I hope you all have a wonderful afternoon or evening at this point. And I will see you all tomorrow at 7 p.m.